Good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Conrad, Socialist Mango Tree, Spy, Country Sticks Official, Yugoslav fan, welcome. Thanks for joining. Probably do a short stream tonight. Pretty tired. Tanker Tonker, welcome. I don't think I've seen you in chat before. Stupidity, welcome back. So I am going to work a little bit on this Lord of the Rings panel. Comic, rather. Pyro, welcome back. Comic got rejected. Keep working on it. Zodic, Jacob, Burj Khalifa, welcome. No Name, welcome back. Alright, so I need to pull up this... what was it? Drawing a scene from the Fellowship of the Ring. I need to pull up the, okay. The reference image. I have the video open. I can't show it on stream because it'd be copyright struck. Yeah, a couple new faces tonight. Very cool. If you guys like Polandball content, you're in the right place. Do a lot of drawing on stream. I have been super exhausted though the past week. Just so much work and too little sleep. All right. Let's see how I want to work on these mountains. Oh, I need to give them backpacks too. Crap. Let's see. Like a beige backpack. This is panel 2. Oh. That's panel 1. Why didn't I label it panel 2? How's everybody's weekend? CH, welcome. What's the joke of the comic? I don't want to spoil it yet, for fear of somebody stealing my idea and putting out a comic before I do. But it features Ukraine and the EU as Sam and Frodo, respectively. Good, you guys had good weekends. You had a 4-day weekend, right on. John Abbott, welcome. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream. Check out the latest Polandball news if you didn't already. Posted it last Wednesday, I think. So it's a little old now, but... spread it to everybody you know. This is Ukraine. Some... that's a brush tool. It's a pencil tool. Behind. Merge that. Is the nuclear war threat a joke? What nuclear war threat? The only countries that threaten nuclear war are like North Korea and Russia. And they don't have the balls to actually do it. No one can win a nuclear war, so anytime someone threatens nuclear war, it's because they just want attention. It's not real. Don't give them attention. You know, when Putin says we'll do something or whatever, or if the EU or US gives Ukraine such and such weapon system and it threatens nuclear war, like, fuck off, Putin. He's not gonna do shit. Lawyer of the Ring. They never follow through with it anyway. Yeah, like, if you're gonna fire the nukes, just fucking fire them, you know? Let's just end this shit. Stop edging. It's 2 eyes. 2 3 pixel maybe. So this is gonna be like the backpack here. So I guess the eye should be kind of like. Should it blend into the outline? I think it makes sense if it blends into the outline. Can you start a nuclear war? If someone is able to get a nuclear weapon by themselves and detonate it and start a war, then we deserved it. That's my hot take. Nuclear hot take. Let's do this. Okay. Backpack. This is EU eyes. Pretty sure that's a sexual term. It is. Do y'all have the same problem with nobody inviting you to things? The trick is to invite people to things. If you're not being invited to things, you should invite other people to things that you want to do. But yeah, I mean, I'm an introvert too, so I kind of get it. You dismiss it now, but the nuclear narrative actually got to your head in the past. I mean, if it ever happens, I'm gonna die in the fireball, so it just doesn't matter to me, you know? Like, if the nukes go off, I'm dead. It doesn't matter. It's sort of like, what can you do, you know? Like, I can't stop it. I can't outrun it. Let's see, I want to do the backpack. Do like an adventurer's kind of backpack. Like a beige rucksack with a sleeping bag or something, and pots and pans. Sam was always carrying the pots and pans, right? But it's hard to do it from like this 3/4 perspective. And then just kind of have like flaps that go over, you know? This piece is gonna take a while, I think, because I want this to be somewhat high art, high effort. How do I make this thick? Pots and pans hanging off of it. Let's see what it looks like if I just make it beige. Not quite the right color. I guess I wanted this like gray to be more along the lines of what I wanted, but let's make it brownish. Something like that, and then make the gray a little bit darker. That looks better. Okay, I like that. Flap, delete that. You live in Arkansas? Oh, you're safe. You're gonna, if you live in Arkansas, you're gonna survive the nuclear first and second strike. There's nothing there worth nuking. When will I draw people's profile pictures again? I don't know. Probably when I'm creatively bankrupt again. When I don't have a good idea to draw a comic, I'll probably draw some. Most Pacific Islands are the safest place to be in the case of nuclear war. Yeah, true. Hawaii is not, though. So I would avoid Hawaii. I would avoid Guam. Any place with a naval base. You live near some bigger cities, but not like Chicago and New York. They're more like smaller state capitals, like Vermont or something. It depends. You know, like some like third, fourth tier American cities will probably suffer. Maybe not like from a direct hit, but I mean, nobody wins a nuclear war, so I mean, we're all fucked anyway. It's just a matter of whether or not you want to live in that post-apocalyptic wasteland. I don't, personally. So, like, if nuclear war ever happens, I'd rather just die immediately. You're in Ecuador. Are you safe from nuclear war? Yeah, you're probably fine. But I mean, the problem is, like, nuclear war is going to lead to all sorts of ecological collapse globally. So even if, like, your country, your city doesn't get hit directly by a nuke, you know, if nuclear winter pans out the way that scientists think it will, then food production will crash and people will starve in places that weren't even hit directly by the bombs. So, fun stuff to think about, right? Alright, we'd add some... Okay, I want to do a flap. I need to make it darker. Do a flap up top here, like that. And then some, like, buckles, you know? I guess these are, like, straps that go down. Yeah, there's that famous saying. I forget who said it, but it's in a nuclear war, the living will envy the dead. You're not that far from Philly. You're probably dead? Yeah, probably. Nuclear war, you're dead. You live roughly an hour and 30 minutes from Boston. Yeah, you're probably fucked, too. Anyone who lives, like, in the Northeast United States, you're probably fucked. Like, even if the fireball doesn't hit your, like, little suburb or whatever of a major northeastern city, the entirety of, like, the northeastern seaboard's infrastructure is going to be destroyed. No, you know, viable farmland. Live in Wisconsin, if nukes go off, are you dead? I mean, the entire country would collapse, you know? But I don't think that there are many, like, nuke targets in Wisconsin. You know, there's, like, declassified Soviet nuclear strike maps from, like, the 70s and 80s and, like, what the targets were, their main targets were. And obviously it's the first thing that you hit in a nuclear strike, you want to take out the enemy's ability to retaliate, right? So you target their nuclear silos first, right? And so the U.S. has nuclear silos in Montana, Wyoming, and I think South Dakota. So they receive the brunt of, like, the first strike attack, but then you want to destroy your enemy's ability to build up capacity to attack again, right? Or to destroy, yeah, you want to destroy their ability to wage war against you, even if they survive a nuclear first strike. So you attack their economic and industrial centers, so places like New York, political centers like Washington, industrial centers around the Rust Belt. They were aiming at NORAD? Yeah. Take out military installations first. Nuclear silos first. But the problem is all of this is moot because all the major nuclear powers have a second strike capability, which are their ballistic missile submarines. So, you know, even if you launch a successful first strike and you destroy your adversary's, or I guess your enemy at that point, your enemy's first strike capability, you're not going to be able to take out all of their submarines at the same time, you know. So you're going to be subjected to a retaliatory second strike, which is why ballistic missile submarines are considered the most powerful weapon ever made, because they can destroy basically a country by themselves. They're almost impossible to detect. And even if you can, there's multiple of them, and you're not going to destroy all of them at the exact same time. So some missiles will go off. You got me sidetracked on nuclear war. It's a fun thing to talk about. Just because it's one of those things that, like, you know, if it ends up happening, like, nothing that we have done in our lives will really matter up until that point. It's like civilization goes through a hard reset, right? So talking about it sort of flippantly, I think, is an interesting exercise, intellectual exercise, or just discussion point, you know? Let's hide that for now. Trees. Finish his backpack first, and I'll probably just duplicate it for Ukraine. A very fun hypothetical. Perhaps the putting of nukes in space. Putting nukes in space, the reason why Russia is considering it is because it's a good way for them to nullify American and to a lesser extent Chinese space capabilities, but mostly the United States, right? Because the U.S. relies very heavily on space dominance, like being able to see the entire battlefield, you know? And Russia can't compete with like the number of space assets that the U.S. puts up, so they'd rather fight a war more on their terms. If they have to fight the United States, they'd rather both sides not have satellites than try and compete with the U.S. in making a lot of satellites. This is behind the backpack. We'll do another flap or like a side pocket or something. Let's do 2 pixel here. Sort of jets out. Okay. Let's do the sleeping bag or whatever near the top. Like red or something. Let's see, how does this work? That doesn't look good. I mean, it's interesting to think, you know, what life would be like in a post-nuclear war. Can you tell me a PNN sports update if you're still doing it? Yeah. What's your sports suggestion? If you guys have suggestions for stories that you want the channel to cover for Polandball news, sports, weather, or just general news stories of any kind, more than happy to take suggestions. All right, behind again. Fix this. Go 2 pixel. This looks like a sausage or something. It's not what I wanted. Try this. You know what, I'm gonna redo this roll. Lighter on the inside. You know? Shit. Too many layers just for one object that I'm drawing. That's okay, I think. I fill that in. So now this one in the front is too small. I don't know how to draw like a sleeping bag at the top of a backpack. This is kind of hard. It looks a little bit better. Okay, that's better. Yesterday night, you made a country ball comic on paper where Ohio and Nepal fight. Which shape is better? So Ohio has a tank and Nepal has a giant robot. I like it. Did I cover the TikTok ban? Oh, that's good. We should do that. Yeah. I'm going to write that down. Michigan versus Michigan State hockey championship for the first time. Yeah, that might be good. You live in the most isolated major city in the world. Are you in Perth or Honolulu? Those are two of the most isolated places on the planet, major cities. I think Honolulu is the most isolated city of more than like 1 million people. One awesome. What are country stick rules? I don't know. Someone else made someone made up country sticks when I made Stick Poland on the stream at some point. Perth? Yeah. Perth, I think it's like 500,000 people or something. Let's see. But yeah, TikTok ban is a good idea to cover for PNN. I have never used... I've never downloaded TikTok. I've been to like the TikTok website. Do you guys use TikTok? Let's add some gold buckles. On the flap. Yeah, that's sort of what I want. Okay. I like that. And then maybe over here as well on the right side. You know what? Let's make this like a brown. The flaps. Maybe like half. 2/3, something like that. Maybe not quite as brown. That looks better. Let's put a handle or something up here. 2 pixels, I think. Let's do a gold trim down here, 1 pixel. What other detail can I add here? There. Sort of split that. Let's make this right flap go out a little bit like this. No, guys, I asked you guys about TikTok. I'll read chat in a second. I think I should have used 2 pixel here instead of 3. Whoops. Okay. This is looking pretty good, this backpack. I think it'll give you Crane the same one, but add pots and pans and a... what's it called? Maybe I'll change the color of the backpack, or the sleeping bag. Okay, I'm gonna merge it. Let's see what happens if I do this. Does that look better, do you think? Darker outline. Good, 100%. Let's erase it or undo it. Yeah, I think it's better with a darker outline. You don't use Reddit because you don't care? Yeah, I mean, that's fair. You use backpack should have an EU flag on it? But that's redundant because, I mean, we already see the character, right? We already know it's the EU. You don't use TikTok, kind of glad you don't. You're happy it's getting bans. You used it once but got signed out. Never in your life have you used TikTok. That's interesting. But I mean, you guys are here on YouTube, so that kind of makes sense. Like, if you use TikTok, you would probably be on TikTok and not Reddit, or not on YouTube, right? You rarely get on the Polandball Reddit. Well, I'm going to proselytize and say that you should. But, I mean, yeah, Reddit is a shitty platform. Don't get me wrong. I hate Reddit. But there's no better platform. And I'm genuinely surprised that there hasn't been a better competitor in the past however many years I've been using Reddit. 14, 15 years? It sucks so much. I hate Reddit so much. All right, let's see what this looks like. Okay. This will be EU backpack. Let's duplicate it. We'll give it to Ukraine as well. And then we'll add pots and pans. I think we make this, let's make it like blue. Maybe not the same color as the flag. Maybe blue isn't the right choice here, actually. I mean, it's a fine looking blue, though. Let's give him a pot. Maybe change the angle a little bit. Let's do another one. Reminds me of like the the pan from PUBG. If you guys ever played PUBG, there's an item that you can pick up, a pan, and it deflects bullets. What else can I add? I think that looks good. I like that. I don't think it needs more detail than that. I think that's good. And we should give him walking sticks. Chat, do you play Hearts of Iron 4? I've never played Hearts of Iron. I played Victoria 2 for a little bit. And Europa Universalis 3 and 4 for a little bit. Just 3, not 4. You despise Reddit as well, you only use it for Polandball? Yeah, I mean, like, I use Reddit for a lot of stuff. It's like like, I don't use social media, but people say that Reddit is social media, and I fundamentally disagree. To me, Reddit is a message board. It's an image board. Not an image board, it's a message board. Kind of like it's like a forum, you know? It's not like Twitter or Facebook or TikTok where you primarily produce images for people to consume. And more often than not, those social media platforms are designed... they're designed for the users to not sort of be anonymous. You know? So. Let's do Ukraine eyes. This is Ukraine backpack. Three pixels. Whoops. Yeah, I mean, I use Reddit for, like, I post in a lot of different subreddits, but the only, like, creative subreddit that I'm a part of that I contribute to is Polandball and its various offshoots, you know? Nice artwork. Thank you. I haven't really done much fancy stuff yet, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I think the EU's eyes are too big. Here, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try having the eye... This is normally what I do when I do a side, like a side view of a character. I sort of blend the eye into the actual ball. And I think more often than not, that looks better than drawing, like, the eye off to the side. So let's try this. Ah! Alright, of these two eye styles... Hold on, well that eye was actually too high up. Let's try this. Alright, of these two eye styles, which one do you prefer? The one on the right is sort of blended into the outline. The one on the left is more, like I drew the entire circle and then I just moved the circle to the outline. I'm not sure which one I like. Let me move Ukraine's eye back a bit. I don't think the perspective is right here. I think the eye has to be forward. I think it has to be forward. It's a big canvas. UI looks better. Yeah, four of you guys said EU's eyes looks better. I agree. I might end up. I feel like I should make these eyes bigger. I like when the balls have big eyes. But because it's a side view, it's kind of hard to do a big eye. Because most of it's just going to be off screen anyway. Not off screen, but... Let's see. How's that? That's better. Okay, let's do Ukraine. Let me fix that for Ukraine. Ukraine eyes. Let's try this. That's better. Ukraine looks better than the EU here. You help your friend with a VR theme channel? That's pretty cool. What do you do for them? Do you do editing? That's pretty sick. Alright, let's do some stars. I want to redo the stars on this EU, so that the stars are all around the eye. How am I going to do stars on the EU from this perspective? Kind of just like don't really go into too much detail. Like even something like that maybe is fine, right? That looks okay. I don't know. I think this perspective is so strange. I have no idea. You know what? I can always fix it later. Alright, that's our EU. Done. Ukraine. Now we can work on the background and the foreground. Alright, first I'm going to do a divider. So I normally do 10 pixel panel dividers when I do panel dividers. I don't always do panel dividers though. I think this comic I'll end up not using panel dividers, but just for the drawing purposes, I'll have this panel divider and I'll merge it with the background. There we go. Okay. This is the foreground. I'll go here. Fill that in. Oops. Now I need to make this a lot lighter, I think. And then some like white flecks. Maybe even change the opacity on this. Maybe I shouldn't be doing 5. Yeah, it's too conspicuous. Let's do maybe 3 pixels. I'll have to do some dark ones too, so I can just like take this and then copy the layer and then make them all dark instead of light. $35% opacity. No, it's better. 35%. Some above the line over here, right? I'm gonna duplicate this just to give it more, to make it denser. And I might change the opacity again, but we'll see. It's a lot of work just for one panel. All right. 100%. Let's duplicate this. Let's flip it horizontally. And then move it here. And then I'm going to duplicate it again. Put some over here. Okay. Merge these. Now I'm going to erase. Where they're outside the lines. Okay, I think that's looking decent. Now, is there a way for me to fill everything in this layer with one color? I want to make this dark. Like, take that. Whoa, what the fuck? I want to take this layer and I want to make it all like a lot darker. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should offset it a little bit, give it a little bit of three-dimensional effect, kind of like that. Kind of blurry, though. EU ball is floating. There's another layer that they're here. There's a layer here that I'm going to fill in that... Actually, hold on. What am I doing here? I think I moved them down onto the... They're supposed to be sandwiched between these two layers. No. They're on the foreground. Okay, yeah, so I'll just move them down a bit. Will this be posted on Polandball? Yes! At some point. This is probably going to take a couple days, couple streams to finish. What is the comics punchline? The comics punchline I don't want to give away, but you could probably infer it from what's here. Like, if you know what the scene is in The Lord of the Rings. In the Fellowship of the Ring, Frodo and Sam are leaving the Shire, and they're walking through a field of wheat, and Sam stops and says, if I take one more step, it'll be the farthest from home I've ever been. And in this context, Ukraine is supposed to be Sam. The EU is Frodo. But I don't want to give it away yet. Alright, I'm trying to figure out how I make this layer dark. Oh. Hold on, I think I know what I can do. There we go. Oh, maybe the foreground I change. No. This is... Whoops. Dark. Change this to maybe 65, 45. 45 is good. What does 50 look like? Let's do 45. Edit. Let's pull it off over here. Okay, duplicate it. And something like that. Okay, now we erase this part. So it's starting to look good. The background, like the mountains are going to be kind of difficult. Mountains are hard to do. And I can do some shading and stuff on the actual foreground. Okay. Let's merge all this for now. So this is EU, Ukraine. This is the grass, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, I didn't give them walking sticks yet. Whoops. Maybe I make the foreground a little see-through. Ukraine, move them down like this. All right, I'm gonna copy the foreground one more time and put it behind the EU and Ukraine, kind of like that. And then also make this 80, 100. I think that looks a little bit better. Let's see. $75, $50. Do 90. 85. I think that, I don't know. Does that look better? Like these tufts of grass next to them. I don't know, because now it's obscuring part of the backpacks. Shit. This is hard. This is the problem with high effort art, is that you get hung up on like these tiny little details, you know? Here, let's erase over the backpack. Like that. Oh, you know what I can do? Actually, yeah, okay, I know what I can do now. Same thing for the EU over here. sort of add like these tufts of grass. That's much better. Oh, Bio, welcome. I didn't see you join. Yeah, I'm making a Lord of the Rings comic. But I'm putting in way more effort than I thought I was going to. Mountains are going to be super hard to do. Let's see, this is grass background. Grass foreground. Ukraine. Whoops. Tree line needs to be behind them. Like that. Okay, and now make it a little bit. I have to add like dark splotches. So these are trees like in the distance, so I need to make them look like trees somehow. It's like a distant canopy, forest canopy. That's kind of what I'm going for. I don't know. It's kind of like it's shading, you know? Because you have all sorts of... Like, the light is being scattered in a million different directions by all the objects in the forest. But I think this is sort of what I want. Oh, you published your newest comic just now? Let me take a look. Military drill. Oh, that's cute. I like it. Random historical question for chat. What is the biggest collapse in history? The Great Oxygenation Event. I think that was the single largest mass extinction in Earth's history. This is looking pretty good. I like this. Let's see what's next. I have this dark forest on the left side and a little bit on the right, and there's then the mountains. I think maybe I do the mountains and like the clouds and stuff next. Let's see. This should be a little bit lighter, this section. Actually, let's see. What color is that? Yeah, let's make this section a little lighter. And then this needs to look more like individual trees. So I'm going to try here, something like this. Fix this real quick. And wherever I'm drawing like these upside down triangles or whatever, kind of upside down points, I'm gonna pull like the negative space between them up, if that makes sense, if you guys are following. So something like this. Right? That looks more like a tree. And then I can add like that. Now it looks like a tiny tree in front of it, right? Ooh, I like this. Okay. This is clever. So I need to make this sort of like outline needs to be more rugged, you know? This maybe. And when I do high effort comics, I don't really get to interact with chat much because I'm focused so much on all these tiny little pixels that don't matter. These sides here, something here, small. Like all these tiny little, like I'm not really sort of doing this pixel by pixel, right? But like these tiny little imperfections where I'm using 1 pixel swapping to 2 pixel, it makes it look more realistic. Because it's not uniform, right? Like when you're looking at an object in the distance, it's really hard to make out little details. So they sort of blend together. So we'll see if this works out when I zoom out a little bit. But this, I do like how it looks, even just looking at it sort of straight up right now. All right, let's take a look. Zoom out. Yeah, that looks like a forest. I like that. This worked out. I'm just gonna pull these down so it looks like the trees are actually sticking up, you know? I can do... kind of like, this could also be used as like a flame with different shades of red or orange and yellow. Okay, let me zoom out. Yeah, that looks solid, right? This little band right here, that looks like a bunch of trees in the background. Pretty far off. I like it. You constantly switch brush sizes. This might be cheesy, but with your mom dying, this channel has made me smile. Oh wow, I'm really sorry to hear that. But I'm glad that, you know, I've been able to sort of help out. I really appreciate that. Take a little bit of solace in the little things, you know? What's your favorite memory with your mom, if I can ask? If you want to share it. You don't have to, of course, but... Really sorry you had to go through that. This is coming along really nicely. So I'm going to do that, I think that same thing for this dark forest on the left. But I've done more than I thought I was going to do tonight in terms of the actual background. This is going to be like 5, 6, 7 panels long. So this is going to be a while. I think what I can do is... so these mountains are in the distance, so they really don't need a lot of detail. So they're going to be like bluish green in the background. So let's take a look at what they might look like. Let me draw here. So there should be a valley, actually. Let's make this more like that. This one should be the darkest one. So I'm looking at the reference image, and that's what it looks like. And they get like progressively bluer as you go farther, as the mountains get farther away. And then I'll do some extra shading and stuff on them. This one should be dark. Let's see. Be a little darker than this one. That's pretty good. And then the back, something like that. So we got like these rolling mountains, and then I will do shading to give them a little bit of detail, differentiation, you know. But this already looks kind of what I was aiming for. I'm happy with this. Yeah, this is looking nice. Let's see. Let me try something real quick. I'm going to make the entire background black, and then I'm going to change the opacity on the mountains and see what it looks like. No. Not a good idea. I think maybe I made the mountains too dark, but it'll change when I have here. This I should do the sky and the clouds, and then I can add detail. And then I'll have to do this Dark Forest. Great book, The Dark Forest. This is a great panel so far. I really like this. I'm really happy with the this forest in the background. That's an idea that I'm going to do for, like, this is how I'm going to draw distant forests in the future. I think it came out really well. Let's do a small valley. Where should this layer go? It's way up here. Need to find the right layer. Trees. Okay. So the valley needs to be behind the trees. Okay. Now I add a little bit of texture. Nothing too crazy, nothing fancy. Tree layer, I'm going to take this blander green and sort of erase this outline. And then make it lighter on the border. Something like that. Let's do like a little stream. I like that. And then just a little bit of discoloring on it. That's really cool. That's great. All right, let's do this dark forest. Left forest. Okay. This would be in front of the mountains. Okay, now, this technique that I just came up with, I'm going to do a similar thing here, where I use a darker green to sort of form the outline of trees. How close are these trees? They're pretty close. Okay, so like, even that I think is too dark. That's better. Here, actually, let's do above dark forest. Do this as a separate layer so I can sort of copy paste. Trying to figure this out as I go, you know. Build the plane as I'm flying it. It's starting to come together, I think. What do you guys think? Hasn't been a super interactive stream tonight. Apologies for that. But I really did want to draw this comic. I think it'll be a very, very cool comic when it's done. I think it'll be pretty popular. I need to add volume, you know? Like, forests have a shitload of trees. It's my, little nugget of wisdom, of knowledge. In case you didn't know it, forests have a lot of trees. Random fucking shading everywhere, you know? The shading should be more pronounced on the left side because it's a little bit closer to the viewer. So let me do that. These things need like more spokes, spikes, whatever, branches on the trees. Forests have trees. Today we learned. Is this going to r/Polandball or r/Polandball art because it belongs in art? It is going to be a Polandball comic. So it'll go, I'll post it to the main sub. r/Polandball. And let's try and change the opacity. 35, no. Let's try 80. A little bit over here. And then I think I'm going to take like the background color and just like paint over what I just drew. It's like another layer. So above 3 or something, do that. And then let's do sort of break some of this up, you know? Furiously clicking. Yeah, this looks good. I like this. One pixel. And then I think I'll do one more layer above this, also 1 pixel, but back to the, actually maybe I'll do one more color. Maybe an even darker. Let's do above 4, and then, no, that's too dark. Is it? Yeah, it's too dark. Let's do 2 pixel here. No, I don't like that. Oh, it's a forest. Is it similar to this grass thing that people are talking about? You know what's one of the most wild things to me is that grass didn't appear until like 60 million years ago or something like that. Grass is a very new plant. Grasses. Is it 60 million years ago? I think they might even be newer than that. Like, how old is grass? Yeah, okay, so before 2005, fossil findings indicated that grasses evolved around 55 million years ago. So imagine that. For most of the history of plant life on Earth, grass was not a thing, right? And we think of grass as being absolutely ubiquitous now. Not even the early Earth, the most of Earth's history, there was no grass. That's crazy to me. New Zealand Ball, hello. Congrats to you and the team on 6K subs. Thank you. Slowly but surely. I'm actually surprised that the most recent PNN video didn't do as well as it has. I thought that was our best PNN so far. But, you know, a lot of YouTube sort of just comes down to luck. Not just YouTube, but like any kind of content that you produce, any kind of art. A lot of it is literally just luck. You know, that's not something you can control. But yeah, this forest turned out great. I really like that. I don't think I'm going to mess with it anymore. There's this bottom like light band. I need to give them walking sticks. I forgot to do that. I like how the grass, like little tufts of grass, are poking out above the balls. And then I want to do more detail on the mountains in the background, like different. They shouldn't all be sort of a uniform color, so they need a little bit more shading and lighting in various areas. So I'll do that, and then this is probably going to be the most detailed background. This panel. The next couple panels will be a little bit simpler, but they might have more detail in the foreground because they're going to be passing through a field of wheat. So I want to draw like some of the individual wheat stalks. Should be cool. But yeah, we passed 5K subs. How long ago was it? Was it maybe like a month ago? This hasn't been our fastest month for growth, but let me see. I took a screenshot of when we hit 5K. Where'd it go? I'm sure it's somewhere on our analytics page too, but I did take a screenshot. Where did it go? Let's say March 17th, 18th? I want to say it was in February sometime. I definitely did take a screenshot. It wasn't January, that was too long ago. Oh well, whatever. Approaching the 5th 666 in Polandball's history. True. That was a fun event for when we hit 666 subs in the main sub. It was hard for me to read though, so I did end up taking the art or the subreddit style off after the first day because it was hard to read like the actual text. Guess I'll tell. You have an idea of why the latest PNN performed poorly? The thumbnail just looks like a huge mess of random Polandball drawings that are all over the place. Yeah, I was thinking that. I wanted to make a very clickbaity thumbnail, so I tried doing that, but I agree. In hindsight, it's way too messy. I think it should have just been like the picture of Napoleon. I thought that was my favorite part of the PNN episode as well. I thought it was super clever and a funny image. Here, let me pull it up. Let's see, 313. This. I thought this was like I thought this was the highlight of the PNN episode. This is that famous painting of Napoleon crossing the Alps. Instead of actually drawing the horse, I just wrote it in text. I thought that was clever. And I gave him a foam finger. And I drew this pretty quickly too. I did this off stream. I do most of the PNN drawing off stream because I don't want to spoil the episode for you guys. But this took maybe like 20 minutes. And it's pretty, like, it's still cartoony, but it's more detailed than your normal kind of standard Pole and Ball comic. So I like this. The horse looks very realistic. True. There's some other good stuff. The things that I drew on stream were fun. I drew this on stream. This was super fun. Like, drawing the syringes was cool. And this panel. This is a Simpsons reference. This was fun to draw. And interestingly, I was walking to work today, and I passed by a construction site, and there was some kind of, like, bright green water that was sort of running down the street into the drain. I assume it's like some kind of dye, because it was very, very bright green. I don't know if any of you guys know anything about construction, so I don't know what it was, but it was like really bright green water. Did I draw this on stream? I think I drew this on stream too. The Israel-Hamas. The guns were pretty well detailed. Drink it, it's a free slushie. I also like this. This is a Star Trek reference. So I gave a little Starfleet badge to France here. The line must be drawn here, no further, is a line that Captain Picard says in First Contact. So I don't know like what the crossover between people who like Pole and Ball and Star Trek is. I imagine it's not insignificant, but I feel like this was probably lost on a lot of people. Oh, I like this one too. I thought this was funny. This was the this was a group of anonymous countries that are opposed to banning dog meat or whatever. I wonder who these countries are. Who could they be? You don't know anything about Star Trek? Man, what I would give to be able to watch a lot of Star Trek for the first time. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, seasons like 3 through 7, goes really hard, and it just never stops. It's consistently good for like a solid 4 seasons. And these are back, this is back when seasons were like 25, 26, 27, 28 episodes long. This was fun to draw. This explosion was fun. I think I did this off stream. Aaron had a really cool drawing too. Here, I'll pull it up. This one. The laser tag. Whoops. Laser tag. And his Canadian accent was very thick when he said laser tag. It was funny. Very noticeable. Laser tag. Oh, the river was St. Patrick's Day green? Oh, okay, good point. You can be the Sardom of the sun? Which countries are these? You don't recognize them? Well, that's because I've censored their identities, so you can't tell. No one can tell what these countries are. Protecting their identities. But yeah, the Napoleon panels. This is one of like my favorite Pole and Ball drawings that I've done. Whoops. Just because like this to me, this screams Pole and Ball. You know, it's like simple. It's got creative use of like an object to replace text and an object to replace things in the actual reference image, the painting. So I really like this. Like I would use this as a profile picture myself. Yeah. Okay. Let's do the sky here. Let's do like a light blue. Maybe a little bit whiter than that. Okay, that's good. Let's do clouds. Do 25% opacity. Duplicate it. Duplicate it again. Flip it horizontally. Do another set of clouds, and we'll go something like make this like an overcast day. Let's do 20%. Clouds again. We'll go 15%. Let's do 20%. All right, that's pretty good. I like the clouds here. God, I wish I could play the Lord of the Rings soundtrack on stream. There's no way it's not copyright protected, though. God, I love Lord of the Rings. Man, I think a lot of you guys are younger than me. I saw the Lord of the Rings when it was in theaters. I was a kid when the first film came out. I think I was 10 years old. And I saw the first one 3 times in theaters. To me, that was the closest I think I will ever experience to what it was like to see the original Star Wars in theaters. Like, it was a cultural phenomenon, you know? And like I love the original Star Wars movie, and I think it's a great film, but it's not on the same level as the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings is like a really great film, you know? It's not just popular. It doesn't just have mass appeal. It's like a genuinely good cinematic masterpiece, right? Star Wars is a good film, and it was groundbreaking in a lot of technological ways, but it was not a terribly original story, right? It's basically just a redone version of the hero's journey, and it's done masterfully, don't get me wrong. But it's not on the same level as Lord of the Rings. Seeing the Lord of the Rings for the first time, and like the first film in particular is my favorite. It was a magical experience. If you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, you should watch it. Absolutely. Not only should you watch it, but you should read the books too. They're both fantastic. They're significantly different from each other, but you know the general story is the same. But there's a lot of stuff that was cut from the books because the books are very, very long, and the movies, even with a ton of stuff cut out, are still really long. And if you're gonna watch it, watch the extended editions. But that's one of those few pieces of media that I really wish I could watch for the first time. Lord of the Rings, Interstellar, the original 3 Star Wars films, and a bunch of Star Trek. If I could like rewind time and watch a lot of that stuff for the first time again, I would do it in a heartbeat. It would be so great. Breaking Bad is another one. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad, go watch that. That's, I think, the best show that I've ever seen. It's not my favorite, but objectively, I think it is one of the... I mean, objectively, it's the best film or the best series I've ever seen. So good. All right. Well, this first panel's coming along nicely. Let's see. Can I download a Lord of the Rings font? Ring bearer. A Lord of the Rings font would be super sick. Let me try this. Alright, it's called Ring Bearer. Oh my god, I love it. Oh, that's so cool. Now I change the text color to be gold and then give it a black outline. Stroke it. Should we give it a shadow? Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. Like, this is a standalone Polandball art piece would be great. Lord of the Poles. I'm not even done with the first panel yet. It's, I would say, like 70% done. But I really love how this is turning out. You know, sometimes when I'm drawing, I get really frustrated because it takes so long for something to sort of start to materialize. But then, like, when you're, what, I've been drawing for like an hour and a half or something. When you get to this point and you pull back and you look at it, all of those tiny little imperfections get sort of erased by the entire image as a whole coming together. And like that's what gives me like that dopamine hit straight to the brainstem when I'm drawing. Is seeing like a more finished product like this. This is really cool. I love this so much. Yeah, fix this part. Lord of the Poles. This really needs the ambiance from like the Shire soundtrack. But all right, I am going to end streaming for tonight there. I don't think I'm going to be able to stream tomorrow night. Wednesday I probably can. Thursday I will not be able to, and then Friday I will try to again as well. So homework for you guys. Go watch The Lord of the Rings, the entire thing. From start to finish. The extended edition. Do not get up from your couch. You have to spend 14 hours watching it from start to finish. And then we'll reconnect on Wednesday, most likely. So I had fun drawing this. I'll try and make a little bit more of an interactive stream on Wednesday. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. And I will see you in the next one. Godspeed, guys.